Oh my gosh, I have never seen that photograph. Well, here's something I know about that photograph. I know it's not a fine art photograph. You know why I know that?
Uh, because the subjects don't smile or
That's
smiling.
correct, because not one of those cows is smiling.
No, no, the rule I was told was that if the subject smiles, it's not a fine art.
Oh, shoot, I had it backwards again. So basically, then, because all these cows are not smiling, that is a fine
Apparently, apparently.
according to the rules.
That's
So,
along Route 66. I'm actually, I don't know if I've ever done it with you. I can call cows. And I started calling these cows, and they all came down and sat there and looked at me. And that's when I took this family portrait. Now it's a bit of a pano, so you can't see it all, but this
uh,
group there, all paying attention to me and what I was doing.
but for those who don't know, there's another photograph you did for a senior portrait where you did have a young lady, a senior in high school, and she's in amongst the cows. And one of your friends said, "You do know that that's not a fine art photograph."
Right.
And you quizzed why, and they said, "Well, because she's smiling. I mean, you
It's a,
can't smile in
everyone knows
art."
that this in a fine art photograph, the subject never smiles.
Yeah, so let's continue on with that thought. So is there a rule, speaking of rules, maybe even a societal rule that you should not, you know, be kind of boastful about your own work or say that, man, I just love this image. I mean, and when
Yeah.
somebody says, they start talking to you,
Yeah, it's so true. I'm allowed to look at your image, not that I ever would, and say, John, I really love that image.
yeah, but I,
We can't say that about our own work. We have to be humble and we have to say, oh, well, thank you, but it's not very good, but I'm working at it. And we have to be humble.
yeah,
But the truth is, if we don't love our work and if we're not excited about it, then how do we expect others to get excited about it? Because when I look at my images, I'll be absolutely honest. I look at them and I go, I love this. This is such an incredible image.
mm,
And that's how we need to feel
yeah.
about our work.
How did
But
you feel when you made that image?
oh, John, it really moved me.
Oh, I
Set
think
me right up.
we may get kicked off of the internet for sure
You
now.
know, I read this great quote by John Lennon. He said, half the time he feels like this incredible musical genius. And then the other half, he feels like he's absolutely worthless and his work is worthless. I feel that way too. And I suspect we all have.
Yeah,
Sometimes, well, the other day I was just in one of those moods and I looked at my work and I thought, my gosh, why would anybody ever like my work? It's just not there. And other days I look at it and I'm just in awe of what I've produced, honestly.
yeah.
Uh,
Uh,
and that's in the eye of the beholder. Someone who loves my work might be shaking their head saying, yeah. Someone who doesn't like my work, we're going, what an idiot. It's all
yeah,
trash.
yeah.
So who do we listen to?
Ourselves primarily. I would agree with that. I guess I need to turn my thing off again. Sorry about that. Hear those dings, but so we listen to ourselves, but I still feel like there's a time, early on in our developmental process where some sort of feedback is not horrible. And I know you and I are going to disagree on this completely. I'm getting off topic a little bit, but make sure, I guess the caveat I always like to leave with that when this comes up is make sure that mentor who you might be looking for is going to help you honor your vision. That it's
Oh,
going to be, they're going to be asking questions like we've talked about in other shows that to help guide you to create the images that you're imagining that you should create. Um,
that almost could be a whole new show about mentors. Should we have one? How would you pick one? If
yeah,
you are a mentor, what should you perhaps avoid doing?
yeah,
Could be something for
I
another
think that
show.
that's a good idea for sure. I'm
Yeah,
going to add that to
because
the list. But back to the idea here. Yeah, you're right. As I think about it, somebody says, "Man, that's really nice work in lens work." You do tend to be humble about it, but I've learned to say, "Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that."
but do you feel comfortable? Let's say you had guests over at your home and you showed there's an image of yours on the wall and they look at it and they comment on it, are you comfortable with saying, this is one of my favorite Aurora Borealis images?
Yeah,
I just love this image.
I think I would now. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe because of this conversation, honestly.
Well, sometimes I think the fear in saying that is, if they don't like it, then we'll look extra stupid. First,
Oh,
I didn't like it. Now I'm saying I love it, and they're going, "Yeah, okay, whatever."
okay. Yeah, well, that's true. There's that human element again that gets in the way, but yeah, I think I could say now, no, I really love this series. I'm really, really happy with this.
Good.
I'm glad you like it too.
Yeah, we have to be. I think we have to be able to say that without embarrassment. If we really love something of ours,
Yeah.
it's not
Yep.
boasting.
No.
Okay.
All righty. Well, we'll see you around the corner.